Pentagon and police headquarters in New York. A guy that talks about specifically kill all the rich people, break up their cars and their apartments, kill your parents, that's where it's really at. William Ayers, a guy that in 2001 regrets that he didn't do more bombings and do enough, that he's now a friend. This week, Barack Obama's campaign manager says he is friendly with this man today. Now, I want you to explain, because you wrote in your column about this meeting, this rite of passage meeting when Barack was getting into politics. What do you know about that?
Well, I know from the public reports is that Ayers is sort of a prominent guy in the community, a prominent guy among sort of left-wing activists, a hero according to some left-wing activists, and that he was one of the guys that Obama was supposed to sort of do the rounds with when he was coming up in the local Chicago politics.
What are we to make then? For example, a lot's been made, and we've talked a lot about Barack Obama's pastor, the black value system, the fact that his pastor gave a Lifetime Achievement Award to an anti-Semite and racist Louis Farrakhan. What are we to make of these associations and should he get a pass? And why is he getting a pass?
Well, I mean, I think there are two things you could say. One is, why is he getting a pass? Why isn't he asked about this more forcefully? I think some of the answers are, I think Obama's good at answering the few questions he does get about this. But I mean, just imagine again if the putative Republican nominee had a racist right-wing pastor. Yeah. Had roots in the Minuteman militia or the Tim McVeigh crowd, or who was married to another former radical. I mean, Ayers is married to a radical, or something along those, or grew up, in the right-wing equivalent to Saul Alinsky, which Obama did. Wouldn't we hear a lot about that?
Well, and that was what Hillary's thesis was about. I found a piece from the New York Times, April 30th, 2007, Jonah, that I want to read to our audience here. It says, on the Sunday after the terrorist attacks at 9/11, Jeremiah Wright, the pastor, said that the attacks were a consequence of violent American policies, talking about America. This is right after 9/11. And I'm just wondering, how many associations can he have with so many people with radical views, and how could he get this far without any scrutiny in all of this? And I know that this may sound repetitive here, but it's somewhat amazing to me.
Keep doing this. Keep doing this, Jonah. Keep going after Barack Obama. Keep trying to smear him with everybody he ever met.
And
it's going to reflect back upon you. Let me ask you a question. Attorney General Dick Thornburg has called Orlando Bosch an unrepentant terrorist. This is a guy who was accused of taking part in Operation Condor and other terrorist attacks, including the October 6, 1976 bombing of a Cuban civilian airliner, killing 73 people, at the urging of the Cuban community in Florida, who prevailed upon Jeb Bush to go to his father. His father intervened, that means at the time President Bush 41, to release Orlando Bosch from prison. Was that a bad idea? And are you going to attack the Bushes for having done that in the same way you want to smear Barack Obama with everybody he's ever met in his life?
Alan, I mean, it sounds bad. I don't know a lot about it. I'm delighted that you can find. Look, I mean, if you want to start listing people on the right who are supportive of this one alleged Cuban terrorist that you found out with, I can bring you a phone book of people who made apologies for Fidel Castro.
You want to know your facts and your history, Jonah, because if you're going to smear Barack Obama and go after him and go after associations and not take responsibility for associations on your own side, you've got a double standard.
Alan, what's the smear? What's the smear?
Come on, don't act so innocent.
No, Alan, I'm doing you the benefit of the doubt of actually assuming you believe what you're saying. What is the smear?
David Duke endorsed Lou Barletta, the mayor of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, in his race for Congress. Are you upset about that? Should he renounce it?
Of course he should. Of course he should.
I talking about that. I only hear you talking about Barack Obama
gets the
and trying to time to every left winger you can think of that you don't like.
I'm sorry? I was trying to answer your first question while you were asking me a second question.
It's a guilt by association game, Jonah. That's not going to work.
Any single Republican, any Republican who doesn't renounce the endorsement of David Duke should be ashamed of themselves.
Thank you for being with us.
Any Democrat who takes the endorsement or the money from someone like Bill Ayers should be ashamed of themselves.
Coming up just 3 days before Super Tuesday.